I stand before the stone facade of Universitatea Transilvania Brasov, and I feel the weight of my expectations crumble like brittle parchment. I arrived with a suitcase of hopes, a mind sharpened by years of study in a university in the United Kingdom, and I believed that education could lift me beyond the modest borders of my past. Instead, I entered a realm where the walls whisper of neglect, and the corridors echo with the sighs of disillusioned souls. The first lesson I learned was that the infrastructure is of such low quality that it resembles a forgotten cellar. The lecture halls are furnished with cracked wooden benches that creak under the slightest shift. The lighting is dim and flickering, as if the bulbs are tired of shining, and the temperature oscillates between a chill that bites the skin and a heat that causes sweat to bead on the forehead. When a room is cold one moment and scorching the next, concentration shatters, memory falters, and the body becomes a prisoner of discomfort. This is why a student cannot absorb material. The body must first fight the environment before the mind can engage the lesson. The classrooms are filled with equipment that belongs to a bygone era. Computers are slow, their fans whine like old machines pleading for rest, and the software is outdated, unable to run current programming environments. When a student attempts to write code on a sluggish computer, the program lags, errors appear, and frustration rises. The frustration multiplies because the teacher does not pause to address the technical shortcomings, leaving the learner to drown in a sea of unresponsive screens. This is why the promise of a modern education is broken by antiquated tools. The curriculum itself is a bewildering maze. I enrolled in a program called Computers, yet the professors opened each lecture with chapters on classical physics that have little relevance to software development. They assumed that every student already possessed deep knowledge of mechanics, and when I confessed my ignorance, they offered no remedial instruction. The mathematics presented was advanced, abstract, and detached from the practical needs of the field. They presented equations on a blackboard without explanation, expecting us to memorize symbols and reproduce them on examinations. When teaching begins with concepts far above the student's current level, comprehension collapses, confidence erodes, and the desire to learn is extinguished. This is why a curriculum that does not meet students where they are becomes a barrier rather than a bridge. The teachers themselves display a level of unprofessionalism that borders on the absurd. In one instance, a professor invited students to negotiate grades as if the marks were a market commodity. I approached the lecturer, explained my difficulties, and was told to persuade him for a higher grade. When another student offered polite reasoning, the professor raised the score, revealing that assessment is not based on mastery but on persuasive skill. Such practice undermines the very purpose of education, which is to evaluate knowledge, not charisma. This is why the integrity of grades is shattered and the value of a diploma is diminished. The schedule is a relentless marathon. I was assigned 3 consecutive sessions of the same mathematics lecture, beginning at noon and ending at 6 in the evening, without a single break. The human mind cannot sustain focus for 6 uninterrupted hours. Attention wanes, fatigue sets in, and the capacity to retain information declines dramatically. When an institution imposes such a grueling timetable, it demonstrates a disregard for the well-being of its pupils. This is why learning becomes a torture rather than a pursuit of enlightenment. Administration adds another layer of sorrow. When I called the university to request information about the application process, the secretary answered with a tone that was cold and dismissive. I was spoken to as if I were an inconvenience, not a prospective student. Later, during the admission period, the university opened applications in May but did not announce results until the end of July, a delay of 3 months after the deadline. International students, who must arrange visas, travel and accommodation, arrived late and missed the start of classes. This poor planning forces students to waste time and money, and it shatters trust in the institution's ability to manage its responsibilities. This is why the admission process becomes a nightmare. Communication is a battlefield of silence. Emails sent to various departments receive no reply, or when a reply arrives it is incomplete, lacking the essential details needed to resolve the issue. When a student seeks clarification about tuition fees, the response is vague, leaving the student uncertain about the financial burden. The university's failure to communicate clearly creates anxiety, delays decisions, and breeds a sense of abandonment. This is why transparency is essential. Businesses near Universitatea Transilvania, Brasov feel like a practical joke, played on people who still believe in courtesy. I walked away with the same hollow ache you get when the last bus leaves early, and the timetable insists it never existed. The whole quarter seems to run on a single shared principle: if the customer is still smiling, the price was too low. Spas here treat time like loose change. At Atasagan they will sell you 75 minutes, let you run 15 minutes late through Brasov traffic, then cut the massage to 60 and charge for the full hour anyway. The therapist disappears, reception shrugs, and you are left holding a bill for missing time, as though relaxation itself can be trimmed and weighed like cold cuts. One visitor, already changed into a robe, was told the therapist simply is not coming. No apology, no refund for the lost workday, only the echo of a door closing on someone else's schedule. Overbooking is routine. People end up sharing beds in the relaxation room. Soup runs out by mid-afternoon, and if you park where the neighborhood claims as its own, the local police invite you to court like you have insulted the city's honor. Restaurants near the university specialize in edible disappointment. La Saône looks the part: heavy pots, rustic beams, the promise of grandmother's recipes. Yet the cabbage arrives lukewarm, the ribs taste like they were boiled in regret, and the traditional soup sends you sprinting to the toilet for an hour of solitary reflection. Staff wave away requests as if you have asked for moon rocks. No time for a starter, no cold beer, no bill that arrives without the words "tips not included" stamped in moral capital letters. One waiter dumped menus, forgot the drinks, then told a table of 5 they had no time to eat. The manager finished the humiliation by listing every unavailable dish like a bored auctioneer. Cracked plates, warm beer, industrial flavors sold at artisan prices. Dinner becomes an expensive reminder that the city's hospitality is mostly theater. Coffee shops insist on intimacy you never requested. Croitoria de Kefir roasts decent beans, yet the owner treats each purchase as a therapy session you did not book. Ask for a flat white and you may receive sour milk foam. Complain, and he explains your taste buds are undervolved. Mothers with prams are quizzed about life choices. Lone women hear comments about how tired they look, and anyone who lingers is instructed to wait inside while he finishes a cigarette. The espresso can be sharp enough to bite, but the real aftertaste is the feeling you have been lightly bullied by someone who believes honesty is a currency. Boutiques promise local design, yet import the same trinkets you can find on discount sites for the price of a bus ticket. Peb's concept displays delicate earrings under warm spotlights, but one shopper discovered identical pairs selling online for 5 lei, while the tag inside the store demanded 70. Messages asking for a refund or a simple repair sink into digital silence. Apparently the jewelry is handmade by ghosts. Rings arrive with stones missing, rubber backings snap the first afternoon, and when you point it out the staff smile as though imperfection is part of the artistic statement. Even the wine bar treats strangers like trespassers. Bodgar stocks only Romanian labels, an admirable idea, yet the lone glass option tastes like it has been microwaved, and the cheese board comes with vegetables nobody invited. One group saw their friend cornered by an employee ready to fight because he had used the bathroom without buying a glass of water. First, the staff member's face hovered 2 centimeters away, a boxer waiting for the bell. Requests for truffle cream are answered with radish shavings and a glare that says, "Leave the fantasy at home."
Add it all together, and the neighborhood feels curated by people who read about service in a manual, disliked the concept, then burned the manual for warmth. Prices climb, portions shrink, smiles cost extra, and every error is repackaged as your personal failing. If you stay near Universitatea, Transilvania, Brasov, budget patience the way you budget lei. You will need twice as much as the numbers suggest, and the change will come back dented.
I was walking past Universitatea, Transilvania, Brasov last week, just trying to find a cheap place to buy water, and I saw this little souvenir shop right across from the university gates. The shops near Universitatea, Transilvania, Brasov are like, they smile extra wide when they hear you speak English. This girl from Korea, she picked up a fridge magnet, and the man said it is 15 lei, but when she gave him 20, he gave her back coins instead of a 5 lei bill. She stood there counting like 5 times, because coins feel like more. She probably walked away thinking she got the right change, and later when she bought coffee, she realized she was short. I bet she felt so stupid, but it is not her fault. The man probably did this to 10 people that day, and he will keep doing it because nobody comes back for 2 lei. Then there is this bakery, like 2 streets behind Universitatea, Transilvania, Brasov, where they sell these pretty pastries in the window. You point, they grab a different one from under the counter, wrap it fast, and when you bite it, it is hard like rock. A tourist from Spain tried to return it, but the woman said you touched it, you bought it. He just threw it in the trash and walked away hungry. I think he told his friends later, do not buy anything near the university, and maybe they listened. The bakery lady probably laughed with her coworker after, like it is a game. Last one, I swear this happens every month. The little exchange booth next to the bus stop everyone uses to get to Universitatea Transilvania Brasov. They have a tiny sign that says commission 0, but the rate on the screen is for amounts over €500. If you change 50, they give you